Pauwi ka na ba ng Pilipinas and you will be traveling with minors? Or uuwi na sa Pilipinas ang iyong anak na or iyong inaalagaan na minors, pero paano ba? Ano ba mga requirements to comply with kung they will be traveling alone? Panoorin niyo po ang videong ito nang makatulong ang information na ibabahagi para lang sa inyo. Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat mga kabayan at mga balikbayan at kayo ay nanonood ng Jamey Iris TALK TV kung saan dadalhan ko po kayo ng updates regarding travel guidelines kung sakasakaling kayo ay magta-travel with a minor papuntang Pilipinas or kung hindi naman po kaya ang inyong anak na unaccompanied minor ay palipad po sa Pilipinas. What are the guidelines, the protocols that you have to take into consideration nang sa gayon maiwasan po ang challenges lalo na po kung mag-isa uuwi ang inyong anak na minor. So muli po sa lahat ng ating mga subscribers, welcome back at if this is your first time to actually join us in this channel, kayo po ay inaanyayahan ko na mag-subscribe na po sa ating channel. Click nyo na po yung notification bell at yung subscribe button. Natutuwa at nagagalak po ako na makasama namin kayo. So welcome po dito sa ating Talk TV. Ngayon, pag-usapan na po natin traveling with the minors to the Philippines at accompanied minors traveling to the Philippines. Una po muna nating i-discuss kung matatandaan po natin, ang mga travel protocols na implemented ngayon ay effective po ito last May 30, 2022 mula sa IATF Resolution 168. At mapapansin din po natin na hindi na po ito kasing pabago-bago nung mga nakaraang taon or beginning of this year. Medyo nag-steady na po siya. However, last September 12, 2022, may slight changes po mula sa BOQ from their advisory. Panoorin niyo po yung isang video ko that when I discuss ano ba yung slight changes na ito, especially for the Filipinos na fully vaccinated with or without a booster dose. Yan po mga kabayan. Pero sa ngayon, ang i-focus po natin ay ang mga minors. Let's start with traveling to the Philippines with minors. Kung lilipad po kayo bilang parents or guardians and you'll be flying or traveling with minors, here are the protocols that we have na kailangan yung pagkatatandaan. Unang-una, ang entry, testing, and quarantine protocols para sa mga Filipino and foreign nationals arriving from abroad beginning May 30, 2022 shall be as follow. Kung mga unvaccinated minor Filipinos, eto po, Filipino nationals below 12 years of age na hindi bakunado for any reason whatsoever, kinakailangan lamang po na ano man po ang magiging quarantine protocol for them ay kung ano po ang quarantine protocol for you, or let us just say ano po yung arrival protocol na applicable po sa inyo, not necessarily quarantine protocol po. Ayan. So, ang ibig sabihin nila dito, when you say quarantine protocol, hindi naman po automatically sa hotel kayo. Pero kasi 'di ba, when you are fully vaccinated, for example, kayo ay mga magulang na fully vaccinated, and with or without any booster. So with the new, dun po sa ating bagong protocol with the BOQ advisory, maaari na po kayo umuwi sa Pilipinas. Una, ang kailangan nyo lang i-prepare bago kayo bumalik ay ang inyong vaccination and booster certificate at yung e-arrival QR code. So sabi dito, pagdating nyo sa Pilipinas, kayo po ay diretsyo na pauwi ng bahay at 7 days self-monitoring. Kung yan pong applicable sa inyo bilang mga parents and you have your minors traveling with you na 12 years of age and who are not vaccinated, kung ano po ang applicable sa inyo sa arrival protocol at pre-departure at arrival protocol, that will also be applicable for the minors. So hindi na rin po sila magka-quarantine sa hotel, uuwi din po sila sa bahay kasama ninyo at 7 days self-monitoring. Of course, you will have to be monitoring the health of your minors. Yan po. So, and then, yan po yung una, 12 years old and below who are not vaccinated. And for any Filipino nationals from 12 years to 17 years old, eto, Sabi dito, kinakailangan po they follow the classification and procedures based on their vaccination status. Sa 12 to 17 years old, may requirement na po na kailangan vaccinated po sila upon arrival. So hindi po nila susundin kung ano lang yung inyong vaccination status bilang mga parents. So kung sila ay vaccinated, at fully vaccinated po ang 12 to 17 years old minor na uuwi with you, automatically po exempted na sila from the hotel quarantine. Kung hindi po sila vaccinated or sila unvaccinated, then therefore, upon arrival in the Philippines, they will be required to go for a hotel quarantine or yung tinatawag nating facility-based quarantine. At syempre, since minor sila, isa po sa inyong parents, kailangan po ay sumama po sa inyong minor na anak. Yan po. Kung sakasakali naman po gusto nyo magkakasama kayong pamilya, maaari din naman po yun. Decision nyo po yun as a family. Kung sakaling unvaccinated po ang 12 to 17 years old na anak po ninyo. Now, in case of such unvaccinated minor children, either foreign or Filipino parents should, yun po yung sinabi natin kanina, accompany such child or children during the facility-based quarantine. So yan po para sa ating mga Filipino minors. Ayan. So tingnan naman natin paano kung foreign national. Kung foreign national naman po, a foreign child or children below 12 years of age who are not vaccinated for any reason whatsoever and traveling with their Filipino parent shall follow the entry, testing, and quarantine protocols of their children parent traveling with them. Now, a foreign child or children from ages 12 to 17 years of age traveling with their Filipino parent shall follow the protocol based on their vaccination status. So, katulad pa rin po ito ng sinabi ko kanina, unang-una, kung below 12 years old, hindi vaccinated, okay lang po yun. Basta kung ano man po yung vaccination status ng parent or Filipino parent ay susundin. Tandaan po natin kung foreigners, right? So kung ang kasama ay ang Filipino parent, so pwede pong vaccinated or unvaccinated. Pero kung ang kasama ay kapwa, kumbaga foreign din po, foreign passport holder na parent, so kinakailangan vaccinated. Kasi for foreign passport holders, kailangan po vaccinated lang po ang allowed na pinapapasok sa Pilipinas. But in this example, Filipino parent po yung binanggit dito. Now, a foreign child or children from ages 12 to 17 years of age traveling with a Filipino parent. So katulad ng nasabi natin, they need to follow the protocol based on their vaccination status. So ang bata, 12 to 17, kailangan vaccinated na po, fully vaccinated upon arrival in the Philippines para hindi po ma-quarantine sa hotel or ma-exempt from hotel quarantine. In such case, such unvaccinated minor children, either foreign or Filipino, kung sakasakali pong unvaccinated, ay kinakailangan po mag-quarantine sa hotel at masamahan ng parents po or isa sa mga parents. Yan. Napaka-importante po nito. So yan po ang ating mga basic, kumbaga tinatawag nating protocols for the minors traveling to the Philippines, whether a Filipino or a foreign passport holder. So yan po, tandaan po natin whatever will be applicable sa inyo sa pre-departure at arrival, kung below 12 years old, that will be applicable for your minors. At kung sakasakali po, 12 to 17 years old, they have their own vaccination rules, so they will have to follow that instead. Now, the question is, paano naman kung sakasakaling lilipid ang bata unaccompanied? Now, let us just take a look at the unaccompanied minors traveling to the Philippines. Kinuha po natin ito doon sa guidelines na binigay ng BOQ, doon sa e-arrival card, latest entry protocol. So, ayan. So, if your child is an accompanied minor, 12 to 17 years old, they must be fully vaccinated, meaning they had completed their primary dose and at least have one booster shot with or without coordination with DSWD is okay. So there's no need for pre-departure testing, and at the same time, upon arrival, no facility-based quarantine will be required. If your unaccompanied minor will travel to the Philippines alone and they're 12 to 17 years old, fully vaccinated, meaning completed with the primary dose, they may also present, just in case they did present, the negative COVID-19 RT-PCR test result taken within 48 hours prior boarding, or they had taken a remotely supervised laboratory-based COVID-19 antigen negative result within 24 hours prior to the date of departure from the country of origin with or without coordination with the SWD, that is fine. Now, they will not be required for testing upon arrival, and no quarantine required as well. Next one, so unaccompanied minor, 12 to 17 years old. So if they're fully vaccinated with or without booster and you had coordinated with the SWD, so there's no testing and quarantine required. So it means that if they're fully vaccinated but they don't have any booster, please coordinate with the SWD. You can take a look at the rules that the airline actually have about this. They usually have proper airlines. Yan. And then, partially vaccinated and unvaccinated, regardless of coordination with DSWD. Ayan po, kung partially vaccinated ang bata na 12 to 17 years old, kaya meron o walang coordination with DSWD, pagdating ng Pilipinas, mandatory quarantine sa hotel, at meron din siyang testing on the 5th day doon po sa hotel. At syempre kasama po ang parents o isa po sa inyo doon sa hotel quarantine. Ayan, kasi minor po ang inyong anak. And those are the protocols that we have for the unaccompanied minor, 12 to 17 years old. Kapag ang unaccompanied minor na anak nyo naman ay lilipad, 4 to 11 years old, fully vaccinated with prior coordination with DSWD, no testing and quarantine required. And then, partially vaccinated, presenting with negative COVID-19 RT-PCR test result within 48 hours prior to boarding, or has an antigen that was taken remotely supervised or laboratory-based COVID-19, then this was taken prior to the date of departure from the country of origin with coordination with DSWD pagdating, so no testing and quarantine required. Now, please note, for minors 3 years old and below, they must have prior coordination with the SWD prior to and 3. So please coordinate with your airlines about this, everyone, so that at least you know what you need to comply with, especially if you will be allowing your child or children to travel unaccompanied. Now, how about foreign minors? So, unaccompanied foreign minors, 15 to 17 years of age, now fully vaccinated, completed the primary dose, and has a booster shot, no testing and quarantine required. And then fully vaccinated with negative COVID-19 RT-PCR test result within 48 hours prior to boarding, or laboratory-based negative COVID-19 antigen test result within 24 hours prior to boarding, then no testing and quarantine required. And letter C, fully vaccinated but without booster shot or without negative COVID-19 RT-PCR test result within 48 hours prior to boarding, or laboratory-based negative COVID-19 antigen test result within 24 hours prior to boarding, mandatory quarantine and testing required. If your unaccompanied foreign minor is 5 to 14 years old, a fully vaccinated, kung siya po ay fully vaccinated with primary series ng COVID-19 vaccine and with prior coordination with designated embassy, the Bureau of Immigration and Airline, then no testing and quarantine required. Kung fully vaccinated, again with completed primary dose, and meron din booster shot regardless of the status of coordination with a designated embassy, Bureau of Immigration, and the airlines, there's no testing and quarantine required. Lastly, kung fully vaccinated with negative COVID-19 RT-PCR test result within 48 hours prior to boarding or kaya po meron namang antigen test result na taken within 24 hours prior to boarding at negative ang result, then regardless to the status of the coordination with designated embassy, Bureau of Immigration and Airline, no testing and quarantine required. And ito pa po pala, may isa pa. So fully vaccinated with primary series COVID-19 vaccine but without prior coordination, designated embassy, Bureau of Immigration and Airlines, there's a mandatory quarantine and testing required. So please take this into consideration if this is the age bracket of your unaccompanied foreign minor. Karagdagan pa po, fully vaccinated without booster shot or without negative COVID-19 RT-PCR test result within 48 hours prior to boarding or negative laboratory-based COVID-19 antigen test result within 24 hours prior to boarding, there's a mandatory and testing required. And last but not the least, meron po tayong partially vaccinated and unvaccinated. Automatically, there's a mandatory quarantine and there's a testing required on the 5th day in the quarantine hotel. So with that, everyone, that completes the requirement for traveling with minors to the Philippines. Minors will be traveling unaccompanied to the Philippines. Looking forward po na nakatulong ang ating mga information na binigay sa inyo. If you find this video helpful and informative, please click like at iniimbitahan ko na rin po kayo na mag-subscribe po sa ating channel. Click nyo na po yung subscribe button at notification bell. Muli po mga kabayan, I'll see you in my next video. Maraming salamat sa panonood at lagi niyong pagkatandaan. Saan man po tayong dako ng mundo, taas noo, tayo po ay mga Filipinos. And have a pleasant flight sa lahat ng palipad po sa Pilipinas. God bless, stay safe, stay healthy. I'll see you in my next video. Thank you, everyone.